them. Just keep in mind, we'll probably be like 10 questions before yours because there's a lot queued up. So our first question comes from Chef Hazmat. Chef asks, what are your thoughts about themed streams for certain days like Retro Saturdays or Wacky Game Wednesdays?
I have plenty of thoughts on that. I think they're good and fun for your community. Often they require you to play a weird game that people aren't used to, which obviously as a variety streamer makes things very difficult. Um, they're very good for people who have established communities because you know what's going on, you know that it's happening, people are going to show up no matter what. So if you have that and you know and you care about your core audience and want to just make things weird and fun, I think they're great. Um, they're very, very, very difficult for growth, I would say, but I think they're fun.
I have one strong recommendation for this. It seems to be there are a couple of ways in which that kind of structure has worked incredibly well for some people. For most of us, I think it doesn't tend to work really well for a variety of reasons that totally tie into what Dan was saying. My biggest suggestion for doing something like that would be to name a day after something that you do. Like I have Free to Play Friday and Mix It Up Monday, but I do them like once every 3 months. This isn't an every Monday, every Friday thing. It's when I don't have anything to play and I'm like, ooh, I really want to get back into Warframe, Path of Exile, Dauntless. Those are my top 3 free-to-play games. I'm like, now's a great time. We're just going to start it on Friday and we'll pretend like it's a formal thing. We'll pretend like this is a thing that I do all the time. And people come in and they're like, oh, alliteration. Oh, that works great. Yeah, this must be like official. And then it seems to play really well. And then people ask about it when it's not happening. Like, hey, I'm really excited to see it again. I'm like, oh, just you wait. It'll show up at some point. and that seems to work out really well. And I've seen that kind of advice from a couple of people where it's like, if you do it every single time, you're missing out on a lot of other opportunities, other games that have been performing really well for you. You force yourself to stop playing them so that you can play something else that doesn't do as well. Why would you make that choice? Just for consistency there? But consistency is supposed to be productive, and it's not here. So make the smarter choice, I would say. That can vary from person to person.
Yeah.
Go on.
I was just going to say, like, I mean, pretty much echoing what you guys said, like, you don't want to clog up your schedule too much with like all these themed things that involve playing games that aren't new. If you can maybe like utilize that theme to like play games that still have interest or still have hype. Like for me, I'm experimenting with doing something like this with I'm doing a collaboration with Gubba called Fortnite Flavors, where it's Mondays, it's 2 hours, it's a game that is very saturated. So it's got hype, but it's definitely something that my community doesn't like to see very often. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to do a collaboration with someone else to make it different, make it unique, and just enough that it's like, okay, I really like Fortnite. It's definitely something I want to keep around, but like I'm not playing it 6 hours every day where it would probably hurt my stream.
Yeah, see, I kind of agree with Hunter with this because it's if you've got a game or another game that you need to cover or something comes out that you need to cover or you've been looking forward to and you've got this weekly stream that you do every week, it can be detrimental because you're suddenly cutting that short when you have something else planned that you needed to do, or if you're going through a playthrough of a story, for instance, and you start on Monday and it's not going to finish the story until Thursday, but oh, hang on, you've got something to do on a Wednesday. Yeah. So hang on a second, we've got to stop this story and we've got to do this Wednesday activity. I think that's where it wouldn't work for me, because when I do story modes or story games, I play it the whole way through until it finishes. So I couldn't commit to anything on a weekly basis. But monthly or every couple of weeks, that's definitely doable.
Yeah.
Well, the word consistency means so many different things, right? Consistency can mean like your personality and being consistent there. It could be your randomness in what you play can be consistent. But I think, especially here on Twitch, where people stream every day a lot of the time, having something where you build momentum on, let's say, a game that is super hyped up and your community loves it and you're bringing people in every day, and then you just kill it.
Bye.
Anybody who showed up and was slightly interested, make consider never coming to your stream again.
All those people who are on the fence, and obviously that scales a lot, right? So like I've been doing all of these launch events, and I can get, you know, if it's a low scale thing, 280 people, which is around my average, a little bit lower. If it's a high scale thing, it's 600 people, right? And a lot of those are people who've never been to my channel before, ever. And so they're on the fence, justifiably, understandably. That's how that kind of thing works. And if they come in the next day and it's nothing at all like what we were just doing, they have no opportunity to connect in the way that I want them to. A handful will, and you know they're going to be into variety, which is great. That's a perfect fit for me because that's what I like. That's what I like doing. But giving people an opportunity to connect and have that consistency, like what CyborgAngel was saying, is like you have this narrative that you're going to be playing for like 8 days in a row and finishing it from start to finish. They follow along in the story, but not just the story, your perception of it, your engagement with it. And that draws people in a lot. You don't necessarily want to just like cleave that in half and hope that it works out, you know?
Yeah. Our next question comes from Accident Child, who asked, being that my name